Well, Judge Andrew Napolitano told us Thursday that his #1 Fox Business show out of the gates, that the second show was going to air this Saturday, and that Congressman Andrew Rohrbacher said that almost all Republicans think the Iraq and Afghanistan war are illegal and immoral. And sure enough, I watched it Saturday, and he said that and more. Man, how the worm turns. Well, Ron Paul got a huge cheers whenever he, a year and a half ago at the CPAC event, said that it's not conservative to have illegal preemptive wars. And that's the most influential conservatives out there. You know, whoever said liberals had to be for open borders in a bankrupt country and for gun confiscation? Whoever said Republicans had to be for illegal criminal wars and torture? You know, they tell you this is what you've got to be for. They limit the scope of debate. I just want to say great job to my crew that comes in every Sunday to be part of the show. We couldn't do it without Matt Ryan and Matt and, of course, Jaron and everybody here up here on the Sunday team who also work during the week. I know I didn't take any calls in the first hour, and I love to hear your calls. It's just then I get frustrated and feel like I don't go to enough of them, or I keep you on hold, or I don't let you talk long enough, but then I want to get to everybody else. I'm going to cover a bunch of other important news on the economy and the police state, and now they are talking about big evacuations of tens of millions of people in the Gulf in the Washington Post. So we have some military sources that it looks like they are being trained for some really scary scenarios. So that's coming up as well. But let me give you the number to join us. It's 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244. But please call in about one of the subjects I've raised or something really important because about the economy, about these wars, about how they're now saying we're going to stay in Afghanistan for a couple more years after the last deadline. They always play that same trick of, oh, we're leaving in 2008. Oh, now we're going to leave in 2010. Well, now we're going to leave in 2012. Well, now we're going to leave in 2014. Or sodium fluoride. And how do you get out of the comfort zone and just start talking to neighbors and start calling into talk radio and starting websites and getting past that fear? Because so many establishment people who think they're members of the establishment, if somebody's the manager at McDonald's, they think they're the establishment because they got 5 people under them, at a midnight shift. Hey, I got 5 people under me. I'm making $10 an hour instead of $6 an hour. I'm a big boss man. I talked to so many people who have means, who are intelligent, who are informed, and they'll go, okay, so what if sodium fluoride's poison? So what if GMO food's bad? Yeah, there's a world government. But still, the media says you're a kook if you're against that. I don't want to look like a kook. So you're going to lose everything. Lose the dollar, lose your sovereignty, lose your children's future. You're going to go along with all this because you want to look like you're a mainline person. Is it mainline to jump off a cliff? Is it mainline to go along with Hitler? I guess it is. That's why it was mainline to have human sacrifice every day in the Aztec kingdom 1,000 years ago. It's totally insane, anti-human, satanic, but it's mainstream, so why not? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. You don't even control your own destiny when you just, like flotsam and jetsam, just get thrown around on the waves, whichever way the wind blows you. You're only alive once. Be part of standing up for humanity. It shows how brainwashed these people are that so many of these yuppies now will admit everything we're talking about is true, but say, what are you going to do about it? They have no respect for themselves. Well, it doesn't matter if they want to be slaves. Those of you out there that do hear the calling, that have looked into this information, that know it's true, it's your job to stand up against this evil and take action. And it's a great honor to be part of this. You're only alive once. We're alive at such an important time. Every generation has gone through critical crossroads, but this is the most critical in our history. The very survival of our species is at stake because the globalists aren't just seeking to dominate societies, religions, geographic areas. They want to dominate humanity itself and change what humanity is into a suboid, dumbed-down servant class. I have their own documents. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.com. Leaders in the war against the globalists. Key junction points, jump points to the next level. 888-201-2244. 888-201-2244. Your phone calls and a ton of news. Straight ahead on the other side. Stay with us. Okay, my friends, we're now into the second hour. We're going to get a quick report coming up at the bottom of the hour from Charlie Veach, who made headlines in the Ottawa Citizen and other publications for being arrested for absolutely no reason. The media demonizes any protest against Wall Street or international private banks, the top 6 global banks the kings of the cartel, by saying you're a communist, you're an anarchist. Well, the big foundations funded by the banks publicly fund all the major communist groups. The big banks want to communalize the middle class's money and steal it. And that we've caught them all over the country. Denver, D.C., Texas. We've caught them in the Ottawa papers have reported. The Ottawa Citizen 2 years ago. Royal Mounted Police admit they attacked their own police and staged event. That came out a few weeks ago. They were gearing up for it this time. So most of what you see, you got a few thousand peaceful demonstrators. How do you let the police attack them? You have a few cops dressed up, turn over some trash cans, or provocateurs. So we'll be talking about that and how Mr. Veach got humiliated and basically tortured. That's coming up. And again, the police are going along with their own destruction here. All over the country and all over the world, including Spain and you name it, the police are having to give up part or all their pension funds to the bankers. Everything goes to the bankers. It's like these London Guardian reports and others about the 600-plus islands off the coast of Greece, which itself is an island, some of the most famous in the world, out in the Mediterranean. They're selling them not to the IMF and World Bank for debts they don't owe. Again, it was J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo, and those are the big corporate banking names that have the shares in the private Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is their front holding company. You read about these brokerage firm heads and these investment bank heads where some of them make $4, $5, $6 billion personally a year off selling derivative crap that's totally worthless, and they know it's worthless, and they sell it to police pension funds, they sell it to fire pension funds, they sell it to city pension funds, to private pension funds. And then when it all goes belly up, the cities and counties go and borrow more money from the private central banks that they make up out of nothing at 15, 20% interest. And when they lose their AAA rating, like Portugal or Spain or 40-plus U.S. States are now in the process of doing, according to Bloomberg, I'm going to cover that in a moment, then, you don't pay 10% or 12% interest anymore on made-up money we gave you. That's zeros and ones in a computer. Now you pay 20, 30%, like Nigeria. And so no more roads being paved, no more pensions, no more nothing, everything to the bankers. And then Greece is selling 600 islands, and the London Guardian lists the brokerage firm and hedge fund owners' names. They've got all the stolen money of Greece, and then the government comes and sells them the islands back for a little bit of money from the banker. I mean, these guys should all be arrested. What did the Texas Banking Association say 2 months ago? The president said this banking reform bill that's about to pass the House now allows mega banks that wrote the derivatives and caused the crisis to come take over our healthy local and state banks. And that's all this is for. And the big banks control all the regulators. They run Washington. What's in the Washington Post? Friday. House Senate leaders finalized details of sweeping financial overhaul. A new Consumer Protection Bureau housed in the Federal Reserve, the people that did all this, would have independent funding and an independent leader and near total autonomy to write and enforce rules. To write the rules, the laws. More power to the Federal Reserve. Same thing in Greece. They gave them the same power. We're going into total receivership right now. You think the trillions they stole in the last few years and won't tell Congress where it went is bad? You ain't seen nothing yet. And listen, they're going to take it all out of your hide. And they know raising taxes reduces tax receipts. They want you to go bankrupt. This is financial conquering. You know why the cops have been trained to eat their guts and ask for seconds? You know why they got federalization of police and why they're training to paramilitarily take on you gun owners everywhere? Because they're planning to fully overthrow this country. And these fluoride head police out there, most of them are going to follow their orders. Just like the fluoride head public is. Because the average American sucks their thumb and wears diapers. Unless they're watching a sports game. Then they stick their chest out and act all tough. Oh, my team, I'm worried about that. But they don't have their primitive resistance for liberty. No, you don't know what red blood's for. You don't know what fight's for. It isn't for going and cheering with your pom-poms like an effeminate trollop. Okay? Man, I tell you, I don't like going into bondage and seeing my country, my republic fall. I know when my country's falling. You're going to find out, those of you out there laughing, real soon. You'd have wished you'd have stood up and spoke up. Maybe you will stand up. But let me tell you, me up here talking about it isn't going to do much unless you get in gear. Well, what do we do then, Alex? You get mad. You get involved. You get educated. You find out what I'm telling you is true. And then you decide what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what's going on here, and you make the decision. We don't have much more time, ladies and gentlemen. These people are so criminal, they jack the food and water supply to sterilize and give you cancer and dumb you down. That's why you're so sluggish and can't think. But if you're conscious of the chemical attack, you can break through the conditioning. But you were born to be slugs unless you wake up now. A new consumer protection... I can't believe what I just read here. It's made me mad. A new Consumer Protection Bureau housed in the Federal Reserve would have independent funding, an independent leader, and near total autonomy to write and enforce rules.